What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're in for a big video. I'm going to be going through every Scarlet and Violet set, even the holiday sets, along with the top 5 cards of each set, and try to discuss what the best set was, whether from an investing standpoint or a collecting standpoint, just which set is worth holding on to, which set is the best to open up. We're going to try to figure that out here in today's video. But before we get into it, my name's Trevor. I make Pokemon card collecting and investing content here on YouTube. If you find yourself enjoying this video at any point, consider hitting that subscribe button and let me know your thoughts on the best Scarlet and Violet set in the comments below. Alright guys, this is going to be a pretty long video. I'm going to try to go through this as quick as possible, but I might ramble my thoughts a little bit. It's going to be a video just discussing my ideas on the whole generation, what set was good, what set was bad. We'll rip into it with Scarlet and Violet base. The booster box is currently going for about $220. It's seen consistent growth over the past year. If you've been watching for a while, I made a video like this about 10 months ago, and I was saying that Scarlet and Violet might not have been the best pickup. I realistically think the only reason it's this expensive is because of the influx in collectors into the hobby. If we didn't have these massive changes at the end of 2024 into 2025, I don't think this box would be this price realistically. I could see it being like $150 to $170 right now. I feel like at $220, it's not going to move much more. I'd imagine it's going to stick around the low 200s for a little while here. And looking at those top singles, you got 5 cards here above 20 bucks. Starting off with the Kirlia. Of course, the Gardevoir evolution line is kind of the key point of this set. I guess the key cards people want to collect. You got Ralts, Kirlia, and Gardevoir. Kirlia being the cheapest at about $21. Next up, we got Miriam, just a little bit more, same thing though, about $21, $21.50. This card was super hyped up on release. I remember it selling for $100. Those days are gone. People are not really collecting special illustration rare trainers like they were speculating like they were at the beginning of the era. You've got the Drowsy, which really jumped up on this list a few months ago. You could get this card sub $10 all day the first year this set was out, but right now about $26. The Ralts is $28. And then the big one, the Gardevoir Special Illustration Rare, $39. With the singles being so cheap, I don't know if I would necessarily pick up these boxes. Pull rates are really good on it. There's no real chase card that's super tricky to get. You might open one of these boxes and pull 2 SIRs. I don't think the set has enough depth to really hold the price. And at $220, I probably wouldn't be picking these up. I think there are way better sets you could grab for around the same price, if not a little bit more, for a way better set. Paldea Evolved, Scarlet and Violet's second set, was an absolute banger. It was slept on that first year or so of release. Right now, the booster box has gone up to $353. It looks like there have been some reprint rumors, but it seems like the reprints are for big box stores, for retail locations, not for your LGS stores. I have doubts we'll see booster boxes drop. It looks like it's going to be ETBs, booster bundles, probably packs in some of these big collection boxes we have going forward with the new logo stamps on the cards. I think they've got something like 8 different versions of these boxes, so I'm sure we're going to be seeing all sorts of different packs thrown in there. The top 5 cards of Paldea Evolved, you've got Mousehold coming in at about $33. Very interesting to see this card being in the top 5 of the set. I think it flew under the radar just a little bit there. Not too many people talk about it, but it's not one of those cards you see very often, and I do always hear people looking for it, asking for it, wanting to buy it when I'm vending at conventions. I think it's a solid one to be picking up. I don't know if it's really going to be a card that sees significant price growth, but I think it's a little more unique. Of course, with Paldea Evolved, the IRs are tricky to hit. I do see there being a bit more value on a lot of these, even if they're less popular Pokemon, than other sets with less illustration rares, like Obsidian Flames, for example. You got Tyranitar, $41, Raichu, $43, the Iono SIR at about $50. This one has been dropping quite a bit throughout the year. It hit a high of about $70. Right now down to $50. It looks like it's probably going to drop a little bit more. And the big card, the big illustration rare from the entire generation here, you've got the Magikarp. This is the card that really made this set like sought after. People really wanted to get this Magikarp, but such an expensive single. I think a lot of people would rather rip open the box to try to see if they can get it, but with so many different illustration rares in this set, makes it really difficult to pull this card. I'd imagine this one will forever be the most expensive card of the generation and continue to grow in price. Paldea Evolved at $353 for a booster box. Feel like it's a little difficult to pick this one up. It's not that old. I do think it's kind of looked at as one of the best sets of the entire Scarlet and Violet generation. That's one big thing going for it. The Magikarp's another big thing going for it. It has good depth. It has a good chase card, difficult cards to hit. It also has the starter evolutions from this generation, so that could be something as well to keep in mind long term. It's a lot more expensive than a lot of booster boxes from this era, but honestly, I do still think it's one of the best sets. If you pick them up at $100, smart move. Even if you picked them up at $150, smart move. But we'll see where it sits long term. I'm not sure if it's really going to drop much, if any, at least not anytime soon. You've got the Charizard set next of the generation, Obsidian Flames. We had a few sets with Charizards all within like 6 months there. The Obsidian Flames booster box, $250 right now. The chase cards are not all that expensive. This card had easy pull rates and was not a huge set, so hitting those cards was not very difficult. Pidgeot's about $12, the 5th most expensive card in the set. You've got a beautiful illustration rare in this Cleffa. People have loved this card since it came out, but it spiked up to $30 at the beginning of this year. Right now sitting at about $15. I think it's a pretty solid pickup, to be honest. You've got Ninetales at $17, another solid pickup. This is a beautiful card and another standout from the generation. The Gold Charizard, $20. Look at that. So 4 out of the top 5 cards are like $20 or less right now. Not a very expensive set. You could probably buy a master set for the price of the booster box at this point. Maybe even cheaper. And the big one, the Charizard SIR, $63. The big card, the big chase, but still not too expensive, $63. This is one of those cards I've mentioned before. It has a really low gem rate. A lot of these came out the packs at like an 8 or a 9 quality. If you're picking up this card, I would probably recommend just grabbing the PSA 10 for a bit more. I think it's going to be a little more sought after long term. Now on to possibly the best set of the era. A lot of people love this set. I think it's the nostalgia factor, but we've got 151. Obviously no booster box for this set, so we're jumping in with the ETB. $294 for this ETB. Steady price growth throughout the year, no real drops at all. I think a lot of the people came into the hobby after these had already been sold out from stores. I haven't seen these in any stores other than, LGS stores or at conventions in probably over a year now. But there was a time where these were relatively easy to find. Costco had them, Walmart's had them. I picked up a whole bunch of these the first 8 months they were out for probably about 50 USD. It was like 60 to 70 Canadian dollars. But since so many new collectors kind of missed the beginning of 151 when it first dropped, I do feel like that makes the value of this a little bit more. They didn't have their chance to get it at MSRP, so they're buying it before it keeps going up, and it does just keep on going up. This will probably be the most expensive ETB of the generation. I'm pretty sure it already is. Top 5 cards of 151, you're looking at the Charmander illustration rare, $44. The Zapdos SIR for $56. Venusaur SIR, $59. Blastoise SIR, $60. And a huge jump from there to the Charizard SIR, $208 right now. Huge card. Of course, that is like the big standout. It did peak a little bit earlier this year at about $290, so it's down quite a lot, but we also saw a massive amount of 151 hit stores at the beginning of 2025. Between Blooming Waters boxes, Zapdos boxes, even a massive amount of booster bundles. It felt like every other day I could go to EB Games or GameStop, whatever they want to call it now here in Canada. I could go there and grab booster bundles all the time. Walmart was restocking them. Seems like a lot of that product has dried up now, but I wouldn't be surprised if we still see a little bit more 151 coming out. If there's any card that's going to recover a ton, it's going to be that Charizard. But 151, I feel like we can all say it is probably... I don't know. I don't love 151 personally. It's a very basic idea of a set, but it is also an absolute banger of a set. It hits the nostalgia for pretty much everyone who's been into Pokemon or grew up with Pokemon like myself. Even at about $300 for an ETB, I think this set has tons of room for growth. It will be the standout, definitely that first block of Scarlet and Violet, but potentially the entire generation. If you have the money, I would say go for this rather than some of the cheaper booster boxes or mainline sets. Next up, we've got Paradox Rift. This is another set similar to like SV Base. I really doubt it would have jumped as much as it did if Pokemon didn't go through that insane influx in popularity. We're still seeing that. Like, every set is super popular. It's super hard to get. People just want to collect. For a while, people were just ripping any product they could get their hands on. Didn't matter if it was good. Didn't matter if it was bad. Didn't matter if it was overpriced. They just needed to rip Pokemon cards. Paradox Rift was one of those sets where a lot of us were talking about it, this time last year, saying, it has potential to be a really good set. It was, what, $100 this time last year? Yeah, $103. I remember picking these up probably at about 110. I have a few of them. I did not expect it to grow this much this fast, though. It has doubled from what I've paid. And just like SV Base, I feel like it's going to hover between like 210 to 250 for a while. I don't really think this set is going to take off. You'll see looking at the top 5 cards here. You got the Garchomp SIR. This card's a little bit iffy. It kind of looks like a full art. It's like a Terra SIR. The artwork just isn't that great on it. There's a way better Garchomp later on, Cynthia's Garchomp from Destined Rivals. This card's about $25 right now. The Goldango SIR. This card's extremely playable. It's going to see a little bit of price growth, especially with Worlds happening. Pretty much right now, I think it's coming up this weekend. You've got the Altaria, which is $38. The Roaring Moon, which is $38. That card drops a lot. It was like $60 this time last year. I do feel like Altaria and Roaring Moon both have a lot of room for growth. Even the Groudon. The Groudon was, over $100 not that long ago. Right now, $68. I think there's potential. Groudon, again, similar to Magikarp, it is one of the best illustration rares from the entire generation. For $212, I feel like Paradox Rift is still a solid buy. I really don't see it dropping below 200 unless they print a bunch of it, but there was a ton of it out there for a long time. It was easy to get your hands on. The boxes aren't really outrageously expensive considering it's almost 2 years old now. And I mean, looking at today's Pokemon card market, like some of these booster boxes are outrageously expensive. Destined Rivals, fairly new set, already, $300, came out the gates $300 to $400. I think the Pokemon Company has bigger fish to fry than reprinting Paradox Rift. Definitely a set I would consider picking up. Paldean Fates has seen massive gains, massive amount of popularity. For a while, it wasn't really that popular of a set, but Bubble Mew kind of just blew up out of nowhere. I slept on Bubble Mew. I thought it was kind of a dumb card, to be honest. Now look at it. It's amazing. I really, really want one in my collection. I've got the FOMO on that guy. Totally had my chances to pick it up way cheaper than it is now and passed up on it. The ETB is going for about $212 right now. Insane growth from $43 this time last year. The top 5, you've got the shiny Pikachu, the baby shiny Pikachu, about $25. You've got the Iono continuing to drop. Right now it's sitting at $29. The SIR Gardevoir, my personal favorite of the shiny special illustration rares. Really interested to see if we get more of those somewhere in the Mega Evolution era. But the Gardevoir is $80. Charizard, $170. And the Mew, that Bubble Mew card, every time you think it peaks, it settles down and just goes right back up, if not exceeds the previous peak. A year ago, like I said, I could pick this card up this time last year, $90. Wasn't that popular. Started getting bought a lot. People were like, you know what, this card is definitely a standout card, and it is. I have to say, it might be the best SIR of the entire generation. Definitely better than all the cards from Prismatic Evolutions, in my opinion. But it saw a massive spike. Beginning of this year, it was going for $420, settled down to sub $300, and is now sitting at $450. Looks like it's going to continue to climb as well. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a $500 card by the end of the year. Paldean Fates, again, it doesn't seem like something they're necessarily reprinting or focusing on. They very well could push out more products. Will that affect the price of Bubble Mew, though? I'm not too sure, honestly. I'm really not too sure. I think Paldean Fates sealed product is going to do really good long term. I was really worried it was going to be a repeat of Shining Fates, where it was just a shiny Charizard everyone wanted. But having those shiny SIRs and that Bubble Mew really pushed this set into another level. At $212 for the ETB, honestly, I'd say go for it. I feel like this will keep on going. Even if it reprints, I don't think it's really going to affect the price too much. It's funny, if you asked me about this set like a year ago, I would probably be a little bit weary about picking it up, but Right now at this price and the way the Pokemon hobby has been going, I think it is a solid pickup. Next up is Temporal Forces. We're about halfway through. Thank you for going through this video with me. I know it's long. Not a lot of people like the long form content. I prefer it. Hopefully you're doing something else and just listening to me ramble in the background here. Temporal Forces. $227 for the booster box. This is the set where I'm a little bit on the fence of if there will be more booster boxes hitting the market. Feel like there won't be, but also there could be. The top cards in this set, you got Gouging Fire at about $35. That's the Entei Paradox SIR. You got Walking Wake at $38. The Ghastly Illustration Rare, $41. I think this is a really solid card if you just want to pick up singles. This is one I would make sure you have a couple copies of because I really think there's going to be huge long-term potential on this one. The Iron Crown is $48 and Raging Bolt at $70. This set is very focused on the Paradox Pokemon, the ancient and future of the legendaries from the respective generations. The Gen 2 dogs and the Gen 4, what are they, deers like Virizion, Terrakion, and Cobalion. I think there's potential for a lot of these cards. They're all cool. The artwork is really good in this set. I just don't know if the Pokemon really strike a chord. I don't know if they're really fan favorites. Some people hate the Paradox versions. They say they ruined their favorite Pokemon. I like some of them. I don't like others. I'm more of a fan of the ancient than the future. Like back to Paradox Rift, for example, Roaring Moon is probably my favorite Gen 9 Pokemon. I love Roaring Moon. I already love Salamence, but I think they made Salamence even better with that Paradox variant. But Temporal Forces, honestly, the only card I'm really keeping my eyes on is Ghastly. I feel like it has potential to jump up and be one of the top IRs of the entire generation. But at $227 for a Temporal Forces booster box, should you pick it up? Honestly, I feel like it's not that bad of an idea. It's not a bad set by any means. It might not be the set everybody wants to collect, but I think there will be an audience, and I do think eventually people will warm up a little more to those Paradox Pokemon, and this set will see an increase in value. Now, for the first set that saw like a real major chase card from the Scarlet and Violet era, and that was Twilight Masquerade. We got the Greninja, which was a card that kinda came out the gates and never really dropped in price. This card was steady as soon as the set came out, and that's because it was really difficult to pull. This is also one of those sets where the booster box never really went down after release. Typically, they go down for the first 3, 6, 12 months and then go up. Nowadays, that is not really the case. It's a little bit harder to predict. The booster boxes are $273 right now. I do think this is a really solid set long term. I feel like it's got great potential, pretty much just because of that Greninja, but also a few of these other cards we'll see in the top 5. You've got Blood Moon Ursaluna. I don't necessarily think this is the greatest card. Right now it's going for about $37. The Eevee Illustration Rare, which has seen a pretty significant drop in value. It was over $100 back before Prismatic Evolutions came out. Everyone was really hyped on this card. Right now it's sitting at about $50. Pretty solid card to pick up at that price in my opinion. You've got the Carmine SIR at about $70, Perrin at about $90, and the big hit, the Greninja, $273. This was the major card from the Scarlet and Violet era before people jumped their focus over to Bubble Mew. I do still think Greninja will never really lose notoriety. Everyone's going to remember this card kind of changing the way we looked at the Scarlet and Violet era and being like, you know what, there is some good artwork, there are some good cards. We should start focusing on this a little more than just talking about Sword and Shield and the alternate arts all the time, which was the main focus of channels like mine up until Twilight Masquerade kind of shifted the market. After Twilight Masquerade, though, we got Shrouded Fable, which was kind of a flop. The ETBs were delayed quite a few weeks. People were ripping open a ton of other stuff, the Greninja and the Kingdra collection boxes, things like that. Pull rates were total ass on this set. I don't think I ever pulled an illustration rare actually out of this set. I've probably opened like 40, 50 packs and barely pulled anything. Maybe 2 EXs. That was it. Nothing crazy, nothing significant. Even the illustration rares were hard to hit. I don't know if they were batching issues and I just kept getting garbage batches or if I was just super unlucky. The ETB for Shrouded Fable is $67 right now. This seems to be a set that's carried by competitive cards. The SIRs are very weak. Some of the illustration rares are good. There's like a cool Houndoom. There's a cool Persian, which we'll talk about here. The Cassiopeia special illustration rare is number 5 at about $30. You've got Persian IR. This is really cool, especially with the Rocket set. This card kind of saw an insane amount of popularity when they announced the Rocket set was coming. Jumped up all the way to $75, but is right now $34. Pheasantipity, which is a very playable card, but there are plenty of different variants of this card. You don't need the SIR. It's about $42 and has been dropping steadily since its release. You've got the gold basic Darkness Energy at number 2. Kind of crazy that a gold energy is one of the most expensive cards in the set. $43 right now. Complete opposite of Pheasantipity. It's been growing steadily throughout the year, but I think that's because a lot of dark type decks are very playable right now. And Earthen Vessel, a gold item card. $47, the most expensive card in the set. I feel like this set isn't necessarily fun to rip. I feel like there aren't really many cards that make it worth opening up. From an investment standpoint, this is probably one of the cheaper sets if you wanted kind of an entry level investment into the hobby. This is something you could pick up. I feel like I'd rather spend my money elsewhere, save up a bit more money, buy some different ETBs, or even just buy whatever booster bundles of some other set like Surging Sparks, rather than picking up Shrouded Fable. There are some nice cards in this set, but I'd say just pick up those cool illustration rares rather than picking up sealed product, because I really don't think this is gonna do great long term unless you're sitting on Kingdra and Greninja EX boxes. So pretty quickly after Shrouded Fable dropped, we got Stellar Crown, which was like a completely different vibe, going from a dark kind of spooky themed set in the middle of the summer, wacky time to release that set, to kind of like a bright rainbow set. The Stellar Terra type was introduced with Stellar Crown. Booster boxes, $228 right now, but they are not being bought. You're seeing like every week 10 to 20, maybe 30 sold on TCG Player, and that's been for the last, I don't know, 3 months, 4 months. I don't think this is a very good set, and I feel like the community thinks the same. I doubt I'm the only one who views it that way. The 5th most expensive card is the Hydrapple EX SIR. Cool card, but not popular enough to really stand out. It's going for about $19. That's one of the top chase cards, $19. You've got Dash Bun EX. I love this card, but that's just because I love this Pokemon. Going for about $28, so still not a very expensive card. It saw its spikes, but I don't think this will ever be, an $80 chase card. You've got Terrapagos, another one. Like, the artwork is nice, but is Terrapagos that popular of a Pokemon? I don't think so. And the graph shows that as well. It was going for about $140 right now. It's $37. The only 2 cards that really stand out and I think are worth picking up from this set is the Bulbasaur and the Squirtle. Bulbasaur is about $48 right now. Squirtle, $51. They match the feel of the Charmander ETB promo we got in Obsidian Flames. Very good cards to grab. Honestly, I think they're great. The PSA 10s are pretty cheap for illustration rares. We know the quality on illustration rares is pretty bad. I would definitely be picking these cards up. Everything else you can ignore. I also probably wouldn't be buying the booster box at this price. I'd rather buy, $228, right? I'd rather buy 4 Squirtles or 4 Bulbasaurs and sit on those. I feel like they have a better chance of appreciating in value over the booster box. I would definitely put this one below Temporal Forces and Paradox Rift, and they're all about the same price. Honestly, I'd even spend the extra $20, $30 and grab an Obsidian Flames box over this one. Next up, Surging Sparks. Surging Sparks is an absolute banger. When this set came out, I really felt like it was one of the best sets of the generation. Having a Pikachu chase was awesome. Having some other cards like the Latios, there's a Latios illustration rare. The SIRs are all pretty much bangers. It's just a fun set to rip. It was a lot better than any of the previous sets from the year, in my opinion. If you're looking at sets from 2024, I think this one has the most depth. The booster boxes are going for about $238 right now. There is a lot more Surging Sparks currently hitting the market. I know tons of packs are coming out in these new collection boxes. There's ETBs and booster bundles being dropped at GameStop over the course of August. I feel like the booster box is going to go down in price, and I do feel like this is one of those sets where I would pick it up and hold it. The top 5 cards in the set, you got Hydreigon EX at $43. You've got the gold Pikachu at $54. Milotic SIR at $89. The Latios, this card is beautiful, man. It's going for $158. And Pikachu SIR. A lot of people loved this card when it released, but it has dropped significantly. It is not up there with the Bubble Mew anymore, going for about $262. I still think this Pikachu is a great card. Honestly, if it drops to about $250, I might have to pick one up for myself. I think with more and more Surging Sparks dropping on the market, there's a good chance Pikachu is going to keep going down, and it might be one of those cards that's smart to pick up and hold on to long term. Pikachu's always going to be a popular Pokemon. There will always be a market for it. Even if the Pokemon hobby kind of drops, the bubble bursts, everyone's saying we're in this bubble. If the bubble bursts and everything becomes cheap, Pikachu might still retain a bit of value because, who doesn't want a nice Pikachu card in their collection? So Surging Sparks at about $238, I would say definitely pick it up. I think it will drop a little bit more, so there might be some great opportunities with this set. Looking at everything that released before this, the only sets I would say are like on par or better is Paldea Evolved, probably on par. I don't know if it's better. It's kind of just different, it's on par, depends on what you prefer, whether you like these like Terra type SIRs or you like illustration rares. Paldea Evolved has better illustration rares. Surging Sparks has better special illustration rares. And of course, 151 from like an investment standpoint, from the nostalgia factor, it's going to be better. Paldean Fates may also be better, but that's basically just looking at the Bubble Mew factor. Surging Sparks has way more depth than a set like Paldean Fates. And Surging Sparks was kind of that point in the hobby where everything went crazy. It was right there with the holiday season. Everything went crazy. Everyone was like, oh, Pikachu Chase. Oh my God, Evolution set coming out. Oh my God, Team Rocket coming back. Like it was too much at once and everyone came into the hobby, which would have been okay if there was more product available for everybody. After Surging Sparks, we went right into Prismatic Evolutions, the most anticipated Pokemon card set possibly ever. ETBs have never really gone sub 100 here. If they're found at retail locations, they go instantly. Like there's no chance realistically of like going and finding one of these if you're not there the second they get restocked. This is the only thing I've ever really lined up for at a store, and I don't think I'm ever going to do it again. Lining up for 3 hours to get an ETB, is it worth it? Not really. It'll be interesting to see if this set ever drops sub $100. I know a ton of it is still being printed, still being dropped. It's getting easier to find, but people love it and people aren't necessarily opening it. Right now, the ETBs are $103. No matter how many Costco drops there are, it seems like these will stay above $100. Top 5 cards, though, are dropping significantly. Obviously, all evolutions, the EVs are the big chase from Prismatic. You got Vaporeon about $211, Espeon $213, Leafeon $225, Sylveon, my personal favorite from this set, $314, and the Umbreon $881. The Umbreon is about half the price it was on release. This card was selling at a high of $1,600. It's down 43% on TCG Player and just continues to plummet. I remember talking about this card maybe 3-4 months ago saying, will it hit $1,000? If it does, will it stay there or will it keep going? Dude, it looks like this card might drop all the way down to $500 at some point, which is realistically where it should be. I might be a bit of a hater, but I do not like the artwork of this card. I'd take the Umbreon any day. I even think, some of the other Umbreons from the Sword and Shield generation are better. But for now, this is the biggest card in the Scarlet and Violet generation. I do think, though, it's just going to keep going down. It might be a race to the bottom with this one. And now, similar to 151, like talking about an investment standpoint, I guess, Prismatic Evolution is kind of a no-brainer. Everyone loves EVs. Everyone has a favorite evolution. There's going to be a market for this set long term. I do think a lot of more serious collectors, more seasoned collectors are kind of sick of this set. I don't like opening it. I don't really like talking about it. I don't really like looking at the cards. But at the same time, I'm happy to have a sealed box, a sealed ETB in my collection. I don't necessarily know if I'll ever want to open any of this ever again. If I see it at an MSRP, I don't even know. It's tough. With no illustration rares in a set like this, I feel like it really, really hurts the opening experience. You could open an ETB and pull absolutely nothing. You could open 5 ETBs and pull 4 EX cards and a Master Ball maybe. Get $25 worth of value out of $500 in sealed product. It's not really worth it. This is a set where you should just keep waiting to pick up the singles. I guess there are God packs, which kind of makes it a little more exciting. You could pull that one pack that's really a huge banger, super exciting, but Realistically, is it worth opening this set? I don't think so. I think if you can find them at retail price at MSRP, they're good to pick up and good to sit on, good to even flip right now. I feel like they're gonna keep getting printed. I feel like we're gonna see these available for like another year, maybe longer, but I don't necessarily know what the ceiling is for this set, for the sealed product. I don't know if the ETBs are just gonna like stay at $100 indefinitely and then just start going up as soon as Walmarts and Targets stop getting them. It'll be interesting to see, that's for sure. We're a little bit, uncharted territories. We don't really know what's to come with the Scarlet and Violet era, especially these later sets that were heavily scalped. We got a couple more sets to talk about here though. Journey Together, another one that came out like peak Pokemon excitement. This was like right after Prismatic, a couple months after Prismatic, I guess. The booster boxes were pre-ordering at like $270 to $300. Right now they're going for about $222. This was also the first set with an enhanced booster box, which had that awesome Reshiram promo card. We'll be getting more of these enhanced boxes in the Mega Evolution era, which is pretty exciting. Your top 5 cards from Journey Together. Hops Zacian, about $40. Ends Zoroark, $54. Iono's Bellybolt, $57. Salamence, this is one of the better ones, I think, personally, $80. And Lily's Clefairy, $131. All these cards, of course, have dropped since release. Typically, the chase cards go down in value as more and more of them hit the market. It is interesting to see the booster boxes going up a bit in value where everything else is dropping, but at the same time, there's a lot more sealed collectors. I would not be picking this box up. I feel like there'll be more chances to get it around $200 or cheaper. If you're gonna spend $220 on a booster box, I'd be going back and picking up boxes that are a little less likely to be reprinted. Next up, Destined Rivals. Destined Rivals booster boxes are $307 right now. They have pretty well been between $250 and $300 since release. This set is an absolute banger. I feel like the value is there. I think this is going to be one of those sets that's like long-term really, really good. Even short-term really good. I doubt it's really going to tank in price. I'd be surprised if you see a Destined Rivals booster box around $200 or less. Top 5 cards, you're looking at Rockets Nidoking, Team Rockets Nidoking, SIR at $104, Ethan's Ho-Oh at $149, Team Rockets Moltres, which has been climbing pretty steadily, right now $170, Cynthia's Garchomp, this is the other Garchomp I'm talking about, way better than the one from Paradox Rift and also 10 times the price at $208. And the top card in this set, one of the top cards of the entire generation, Team Rocket's Mewtwo, going for about $344. I feel like a lot of people are on the fence with this card. A lot of people like it, a lot of people don't. Personally, I'm a fan. I think it's really cool. This is, in my opinion, regardless of holiday set, main series set, the best set in the entire Scarlet and Violet era. The artwork really hits for me. It's my type of set, like my vibes. Every chase card I would love to pull, whether it's like a bright and joyful card like the Ho-Oh, or kind of like a dirtier, more badass looking card like the Nidoking or the Moltres. Every card hits for me. Even the illustration rares, I'd say like 80% of them are bangers for me. A set that I can't get enough of, but unfortunately at this price of $306 a booster box, I'm not picking it up. I'm not ripping it. It is a very new set, and I think a lot more of it is going to hit shelves or hit collection boxes. Like look at Surging Sparks, for example. That set's been out for like 8 or 9 months. And we're seeing another wave of packs at least going out into products. A lot of the cards are going to go down in price with that set. Same thing's going to happen with Destined Rivals. I feel like well into the Mega Evolution era, we're going to be seeing Destined Rivals. I'd imagine by the end of the year, holiday season for 2025, there'll be a lot of this set out there. Same with Journey Together, same with Prismatic and Surging Sparks. Now, the last set of the generation, the one that just came out a couple weeks ago, Black Bolt and White Flare. I'm merging them into one set here. They are different. There's different packs, different products, different sets, but they're related so heavily I'm just going to go ahead and talk about them both at the same time. You got the Black Bolt ETBs going for about $89 and White Flare $83. Personally, I prefer White Flare, but I do think both sets kind of have different strength. The top cards in both of these sets are going to be those BWRs. I think they're the most difficult to pull. They're also the most unique. Everyone loves this Victini card. The White Flare Victini, $478. The Reshiram BWR from White Flare as well, $445. The Black Bolt Victini, yeah, there's 2 Victinis, same card, It's in both the sets. Surprisingly, doesn't mean they're less valuable than the black and white cards, but the Red Victini from Black Bolt, 439. The Zekrom BWR, 407. And then the fifth most expensive card is the Zekrom Special Illustration Rare for 208. Another key card from Black Bolt is going to be the Seismitoad, but I have a feeling that card's going to be dropping soon. I don't think the speculation and hype is really significant enough to make that card hold value. Personally, I think a lot of these illustration rares are a little bit weak, but there are some bangers like the Oshawott and the Chandelure. I think these two sets, Black Bolt and White Flare, are going to be pretty good long term. There's a lot of cards in there. It's a really fun set to open. It might be the most fun set to open in the last, I don't know, year or two. Very similar feel to a set like Crown Zenith where you're going to be getting consistent hits in there. You could open an ETB and pull like 2 or 3 illustration rares. You might only pull 1, but you could get lucky and pull some more. Right now, I wouldn't be picking this setup to sit on. I feel like it's going to drop quite significantly. The booster bundles haven't even hit the market yet. And if you're looking to buy products to sit on, I'd probably buy the booster bundles or the Victini boxes over the ETBs. Like, your cost per pack ratio is probably going to be best in the booster bundles. They're smaller to store. The Victini box, that promo card is pretty cool. I think that's going to be a decent box long-term, a decent product to be sitting on. But I'd wait. I'd give it another 3 to 6 months before really trying to make a move on anything from Black Bolt and White Flare. But anyways, guys, that's it. That's a long video. If you made it this far, let me know in the comments below. I'm interested to see how this video does. I know there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot going on with the Scarlet and Violet era, and the era's evolved quite significantly. It's pretty nice to end on like a big set with a lot of cards in it, like Black Bolt and White Flare. It was pretty cool to get that Team Rocket set before, Journey Together before that, and Prismatic Evolutions. Like, 2025 has been a banger year for the TCG, that's for sure. To summarize everything a little bit, my opinion, I would put Destined Rivals as the best set of the generation. I don't think I would necessarily recommend picking it up at this price point though. $306 for a booster box is too much. If you see it drop down to $250, $200, I would say it's a no-brainer. Pick it up. Right now, though, I'd say be patient with it. Give that set another 6 months before making any moves on the sealed product. Second best set, I'd probably have to give it to 151. 151 has punched its ticket to being kind of the key set of the entire generation. Personally, I feel like the set needs a little bit more depth. Awesome set, but it's like a 9 out of 10 for me, where Destined Rivals is probably like a 9.5. I also think 151 being how old as it is, and with the massive amount of product dropped recently, I do think now is a good time to get in there, whether it's singles, sealed product. I think if you can find anything, it's going to appreciate in value over time. Prismatic Evolutions, I'd say, pick it up and sit on it, of course. That seems to be what everyone's consensus is with that set. It's not worth ripping. The singles are dropping drastically in value, but the sealed product seems to be steady. If you can find it at MSRP, definitely pick it up. Surging Sparks, another standout. I think that set is going to go down in value before it goes up. That is one I'd be keeping an eye on, especially in the immediate future. Paldean Fates, again, the Bubble Mew is going to stay strong. I don't really see a world where that Bubble Mew really drops in value too much. $450 right now. I'd be very surprised if it goes like sub $350. I think the ETBs will only go up. I don't know if we're necessarily going to see a reprint or a restock in a set that's almost 2 years old. That's another one to definitely keep an eye on. All right, guys, that's going to be it for today's video. If you found yourself enjoying it at any point, hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments below, what is your top 5 sets from Scarlet and Violet, whether it's from an investing standpoint or just the set being super cool. Let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And yeah, that's going to be it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace!